The next portion of our language arts work today is going to be a writing piece. So we know that our reading, move it to the floor. We know that our reading and our writing is going to be primarily nonfiction, filled with facts, filled with information. Everything that we're reading in our reader is going to be true. We are going to refocus in on text features that are going to help us along the way. And what we are going to look at now is kind of what scientists do when they are working as well. So scientists not only read about their area of study, they also do experiments and they observe. So just like we do in science and just like we read about in science this morning, wildlife biologists, they get to go out and they get to learn and observe animals and they get to experience nature that way. But they're also going to be doing work in the office or our classroom where you're reading information and you're looking up information that other scientists have already discovered. So we're going to be playing both roles with our reading in this as well, where we get to be the scientists who are not only going to be running experiments in our reading, we are also going to be engaging in our text and learning information through reading and observing and information keeping as well. We're going to be asking questions and looking at different ideas and answering questions as we go. One of the things we are going to have is, last time in our reading, we had a writing journal. This time it's going to be a little bit different, and our writing is going to come in the form of lab notes. So you don't need to get it out yet, but we are going to be taking and keeping lab notes through the course of our writing. This is going to be found on page 3 today. We're not getting it out yet. We'll get into it in a minute. But we're going to be keeping some lab notes. Before we start taking our own lab notes, we are actually going to look at examples of a real famous scientist's lab notes. And we're going to look at their notebook, their writing notebook. So I just had it up a second ago, but I'm going to pull it up again and open it up. And we are actually going to be looking at Alexander Graham Bell's journal. These are his notes he wrote as he was doing really important discoveries in really important science. So if we see the date, this is starting Alexander Graham Bell from April 18th, 1876 through September 30th, 1876. So this is going to be April, May, June, July, August, September, about 6 months worth of notes for him. And we can start to look at them a little bit, what those look like. We'll zoom in that way. There. Super annoying. But we can start to see a little bit about what those look like. Aren't those cool?
Yeah. What does
Says,
it say?
no, he wrote in, what do you notice? And it's probably not his nicest, neatest handwriting. People back then had very nice penmanship. So like if they wanted to stop and slow down and write nicely, man, was it beautiful. But when people are taking notes, we've talked about it in class too, that oftentimes it's quicker, right? Like may not be complete sentences. You usually have to write a little bit smaller to get them on there, but this one and I'll do it the best I can. The telephone origin was connected on something on April with the receiver, and then it has some notes here. The bridge of a violin was seated upon the playing S. So I don't know what all he's talking about. But noticed, what do you notice about like, I wish I could scroll down a little bit more. It's being pesky.
Kind of like.
We see, I know, but it's because it's being pesky. Over here, what do you notice that's right here?
He dropped his like oil stuff.
Well, he's writing the date, right? So he's saying like, hey, this is on June 30th. This is what happened. Just seeing some different pages. Yeah, so they also, you already mentioned it, the ink there. So they had quill pens, so they dip it in ink as they're writing. So this would show you that he had some mistakes, or he scratched some pieces out, or he maybe dripped a little bit on there. Totally happens in our writing, right? Now, I don't mind if you guys are taking notes that you do like a quick scratch out or a quick cross through and then keep writing. If it's whole lines, probably need to do a little adjusting, right? But the point of notes is they're a little bit quicker. We see numbers. We see a mix of different things in here. Ooh, what else do we see up here?
A diagram.
Yeah, we start to see a diagram. So as he's going, he's kind of doing what you guys did for the start of today, where he would draw diagrams to fit with what he was trying to work on. And he labeled those parts, and he wrote about a little bit about what was happening in there. That's super smart, isn't it? So if you're running experiments, drawing it out and labeling it, I would assume that if we read down here, he's probably describing it a little bit as well. But we see he's talking about piano B or whatever it is that he happens to be talking about. It says piano, but who knows if that's what he actually means. If piano A is played, why should not piano B copy every note? So he's trying to get piano A to copy every note of piano B. And he's talking about maybe how he did that. We're not going to read every note, but we start to see important things there. Ooh, what else do we see?
Numbers.
Lots of numbers. We're seeing the cells, more writing. Again, a diagram with labels on there. This is his actual journal, Alexander Graham Bell's actual journal and it's actually at the Library of Congress. So it's a very protected document. It's important for scientific discovery, and that's why they keep it. We can see what scientists did even over 100 years ago, what they were doing to keep information and documentation. Do you think a lot has changed in keeping notes since then? No, really a lot hasn't changed in scientific notes. Maybe more on the computer, but this would still be faster. Again, it's dated. This one is dated, and then as they went through, they maybe wrote out a little bit more was happening. So we see that mixture of diagrams, quick notes, a little bit of writing. Yes, Charlie?
Where was this taking place?
What do you mean?
Like, where did he write?
I'm not sure.
Is it, what do you mean? What's the date?
For this one, this is July 6th, 1876. Thursday, July 6th, 1876. So just different examples of notes being taken. I can send you guys all this website too, and we can look at it tomorrow morning to kind of see some more of his notes. But kind of cool, right? When you guys come in the morning.
People can just what
we are going to do is we are going to be reading and experimenting and keeping notes as we go through as well. So this is just kind of fun to get to see what a real scientist, a famous scientist, did to keep notes as well. We are going to have graphic organizers, and we're going to have features in it as well. So now what I would like to do is kind of open up to page 3 in our notebooks, and we're going to talk a little bit about this page a little bit. Go ahead and open up to page 3. What? 100? A little over 100. So we're open to page 3. What page are we open to?
3.
You say it, but you don't even have the right notebook out. Okay, so this is our graphic organizer, and in our graphic organizer, these are our lab notes. We are actually going to be taking notes based on today's reading that we read. So just things we read in chapter 1. And our main topic that we're focusing in on is right at the top, and we are looking at light. Chloe's on it. We're looking at, everybody?
Light.
So as we go through off to the side, we see what is it? How do we get it? What is the source? How fast does it travel? How does it travel? So you guys are going to be skimming. Do you need to reread the entire chapter? No, we talked about a lot of these pieces today as we went through, and you're going to go ahead and just fill in some of that information on there. Sound good? Not today. Then we're going to have some days where we don't do that. So this is where the question is. Right over here in this big box is where you can put your answers to it. Now, remember we talked about notes. Does it have to be complete sentences?
No.
You can do quick information on here as long as you find it from the text. I am going to let you work on this today with let's go back with our cool partner today, okay? So partner work, you guys can work to answer these questions on here. Here's the question. You answer it. You're using your book, chapter 1, in order to answer these questions today. Got it? Thinking about how scientists take notes and keep notes so that we can kind of have that as we go through. get with your partner and go ahead and start working on it.